Okay. Kafka.pdf, a beautiful book on Kafka. Download it, save it. If you want to go deep inside Kafka, you remember I told about checkpointing and all? How you will read up to a certain point, continue from there. If you want to go through that, just look at Apache Kafka.pdf. This one I have already given you the last link, scalabook.pdf, but if you want, you can download one more time. This is what you are going to use if you want to get your professionalism in Spark and Scala. Scalabook.pdf, okay? And then please click on functional programming. Functional programming, right? And that is a handwritten note, and this is prepared by me before writing an article. So just to go through this particular one, I hope you can read it, but this is giving you the core, the juice, what you need to know, and I will give you the video explanation of this today, okay? This is just for your study purposes, right? I had done some 4 or 5 talks on this functional programming, so I will give you the one of the videos of that, the best video of that, okay? Then click on just enough Scala.pdf, and that's what we are going to cover today. So instead of starting Spark directly, I'm going to start Scala today, and I'm going to leave you with the Scala environment, right? And then the next class, I thought that I will be creating the virtual machine next week and we will take off, but next Saturday I will start Spark. Sunday will take off. By Saturday, I will try to create the virtual machine. That's what I'm going to do. So we will have the class next week on Saturday. Okay, so click on just enough Scala, right? And that's what we will cover today, and we have to go fast. No time spending on installations and those kind of things. I will go all these things very quickly. You have to, practice until you become perfect. Keep a target of 2 to 3 months for going through this particular language. Understand it very well, and whatever you are learning in Spark, start applying it slowly. It is not possible like Java, you can master Scala. Java is very easy. Scala is very difficult. Let me tell you that very openly. Okay, the people will have different perceptions, but to get the detail of Scala, I struggle even today sometimes when I write the code. But the composability, the way in which you write the code is completely a different world if you learn Scala. And 1 in 10 knows Scala very well, and it is of very high demand if you know it well. Okay, it is not necessary to learn Scala. That is why the topic is just enough Scala. Okay, just like Java, you never knew the complete Java, but we wrote MapReduce programs, correct? So learn that enough things and concentrate more on Python, which will be very easy for you guys. Okay, so Scala, understand it, how to use it. If you know there are no choice, go with this particular thing. Otherwise, maximum resort to Python, those kind of things. You can write R, you can write Python, you can write Scala, you can write Java for Spark. 4 things are supported by default when you learn Spark. So it is up to you. I don't have any advice. I don't use Python. I don't like Python just because I'm coming from a strongly typed language like Pascal, C, C++, Java. So I want to continue that stream. That is why maximum possible I will use either Java or Scala. For your case, since you have not done a lot of programming in Java, it might be better if you start with Python. And if you learn Python, you can apply it for machine learning. You can apply it in Amazon or Azure or whatever it is, right? So there are so many advantages. So go through whatever is convenient to you. And learning Python, you know that it is taught in schools nowadays. The people, 7th class, 8th class people, students are very good in Python nowadays. So just look for anything Python, simple introduction, something like that, and then start learning it. It's very, very easy. Okay. Right. So the first thing, again, some of the things that you are going to see, you will not see it anywhere. What is Scala? It is an Italian word. Scala. S-C-A-L-A-H. Scala. Right? It is pronounced as Scala. It is not Scala. It is Scala. And it means staircase. And it is written by Martin Odersky. And look at the year. 2004. Now it is 2020. What happened all these 16 years? Anybody used Scala? Not much. How suddenly Scala came up, became one of the most demanding language? Spark. Spark turned the usage of Scala into a completely different level. Spark is written fully in Scala. Hadoop is written fully in Java. Scala is the language used for Spark. Scala is the language used for creating Kafka. So because of these things, Scala came very fast into limelight, and nowadays it is one of the prominent language. If you know, this is nothing but in the architectures, it is called Italian staircase, rounded one, right? That's the symbol of Scala. It's written by Martin Odersky. Martin Odersky is the one who worked with Nicholas Wirth while he was in college. Nicholas Wirth is the creator of Pascal, the first language. Not first, one of the earlier languages, right? He worked with Nicholas Wirth. After that, he created, along with James Gosling and Joshua Bloch, JVM, Java Virtual Machine, who Martin Odersky was one of the key architects in creating the threads and all those kind of concurrency and everything in Java. Then he was hired for .NET. And he was the main person, almost worked in the creation of C#, right? And now he knows how Java is, how C# is. He understood the difficulties, differences, object-oriented programming, and he worked in Pascal with Nicholas Wirth, which is a procedural language. Procedural language, object-oriented language, .NET-based language, C#. He combined the juice of all the three together and created functional programming called Scala. So there is nobody better than Martin Odersky who can create something of this sort. Amazingly created, an ultimate contribution to the technology world. You cannot imagine the power. And to tell you what is the power, 100 lines of MapReduce code in Java is one line in Scala. Just one line. So you can imagine how the composability of the language is. Okay? Right. Now, there are so many things that you will learn, and I have given you the handwritten this one. Idempotence. I don't know how many of you heard about all these words. Easy testing, referential transparency, memoizable, Parallelism. Lazy evaluation. If you ask what a functional language is providing, this is what a functional language is providing. Example of or why what is this particular property suddenly became so powerful? In object oriented programming, there are some other properties which is a must. It's called a solid. Single responsibility principle, open close principle, S single responsibility principle, O open close principle, Liskov substitution principle, interface segregation principle, dependency injection principle. If 5 qualities combined together, you get object-oriented programming. What is single responsibility? A class called a person should have only one responsibility of representing a person. It should not represent something else inside. In normal programming languages like Pascal and all, you will combine so many things together into one main program. In object-oriented programming, an object or a class should have only one principle. Open close principle. A class should be open for extensions and closed for modifications. How will you make a class open for extensions? I will create a class employee which is extending a person, which means I am open for extension. If I am not open for extension, I cannot create other classes like employee, teacher, student, etc. from a particular class. So it's open for extension. At the same time, if person class is containing a private attribute called int salary, that private attribute cannot be modified inside the employee class. It is closed for modification. That's Bertrand Meyer's principle called open close principle. Liskov substitution principle. If I have a function which is taking person as a parameter, then if you have an employee which is extending person, I can pass employee in the place of person. It is called Liskov substitution principle, one of the very powerful properties. This was my talk in 2004 in Java 1 conference in Japan. Thoughts on inheritance. How you can pass a subclass, a child class, in the place of a parent class. It's a very powerful property. Why object-oriented programming is successful today is because of that property. Okay, I am not going detail. If you have written programs, you will know. Interface segregation principle. What is interface segregation principle? If I have printer as an interface which has got a method called print, an HP LaserJet will implements printer interface. A Xerox printer implements the printer interface. Implementations, where implementation interface will be separated. Dependency injection. What is dependency injection? At runtime, you should be able to inject the dependencies between other classes. For example, if an order class has got order items and the order items has got for many products, then those dependencies should be injected at the time of running the program, not statically created in the beginning. So those 5 properties created object-oriented programming. And in object-oriented programming, you are going to write code like this. For example, I have the main program, okay, I'm just writing the abstract, main, string, argus, all those things, right? So assume that I want to cook, let's say we want to cook or we want to make some pasta or noodles, let's say, okay. So, buy noodles, this is a method, but the method cannot exist alone in an object-oriented programming. So I will create an object and then I am going to call object dot buy noodles. After that, x dot unpack noodles. x dot boil, another class y dot mix the boiled noodles with, let us say, the spices, which is another object, z dot cook, and people dot eat. In real life, if you write a particular code in which you want to go through a series of steps, task, one by one, you will execute it. This is how object-oriented programming works, and everything will be inside a class. And inside the class, all these are objects. All these objects are having methods. Objects, methods, class collaborate together to give you the final result. This is the fundamental idea of object-oriented programming. Exactly the same thing. If you write in Scala, how will it look like? You will have one line and you are going to write x dot buy noodles dot unpack noodles dot boil dot mix dot cook dot eat. One line. The best way to understand the difference is, think that functional programming is like an assembly line. A belt is moving in front of you. Assume that there is a belt, a conveyor belt which is moving, and in that conveyor belt, assume that an empty bottle is coming. So Bhaskar is taking, let's say it's Coke factory. In the Coke factory, that empty bottle is coming. So Bhaskar is taking that empty bottle, putting a sticker and giving to Vara. It's a belt. Vara is taking that particular one and filling the Coke. Okay, and then it is giving to Surya. Surya is going to fix the expiry date, a stamp. And then it is giving to Lakshmi, and Lakshmi is going to put the cap. And then it is coming to Udaya. Udaya is going to pack it inside let us say, a box. And then it is coming to Psycho. Psycho is going to take the similar packets and putting into a big box. It's a belt moving. And while it is moving, each actor is going to do tuck, 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 and then finally the result is coming in. Tuck, 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 it is going. Here, you assume that it is not a belt, but individually each person is doing it, but it is not connected together. It is this idea that you should clearly understand. In object-oriented programming, procedural programming, logical programming, if you use Algol, that kind of language, you will write like this. If you use Lisp, Scheme, Scala, all these kind of functional languages, you will write the code like this. The understanding is like this. Functional language works like a belt. Everybody is doing the work, and it is going to work on one by one, one by one, one by one. So, if I have a list which is equal to 1, 3, 4, 5, and let me call it as L dot map x, where x is multiplied by 2, dot reduce. If I write like this, L dot map, L is the list 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, dot map, where each element of the list is multiplied by 2. So 1 will be multiplied by 2, 1 into 2 is 2, 2 into 2 is 4, 3 into 2 is 6, 4 into 2 is 8, 5 into 2 is 10. And then it is going to the next person in the belt, reduce. Everything will be added together, and the result you are going to get is 10 plus 8 plus 6 plus 4 plus 2 in one line. If this L equal to twinkle twinkle little star, how I wonder what you are, and if I write L dot map, split it by a white space and then reduce it where each word comma 1 and then dot add, then I completed my map reduce. That's why I told you it is one line. Look at the expressiveness. The trick that you need to understand here is that when you write map, it is applying on each of these elements. X means it is not one variable. It is every element of this. And then you are multiplying it by 2. And then you are calling reduce, then it is taking all that previous belt, in the belt, the previous elements are taken and you are doing the sum. That's why I told you, think like a belt. If you get that concept, and surprisingly, there are some people in the previous batches who became exceptionally good in writing Scala, they don't know Java at all. Why? Because that thinking they got immediately, that approach of writing it through the belt. So it is often possible that some people, I know 2 people who are working currently in Louisiana, they are Scala programmers and they like Scala better than Java. And they don't know Java. So they directly started this and they like this approach of thinking like a belt. And it is getting added. And it is very highly paid if you are learning this particular approach of writing the code. And it is so nice, right? Okay, so that is what Scala is, the composability. You get great composability and it is very easy, okay? Now, how is Scala created? Scala is created on the top of Java. Without Java, Scala will not work. Scala is a JVM language. So the fundamental idea is that you are creating something on the top of Java, just like you created Hive on the top of HDFS. And they added that expressiveness. And Java already started because they saw the success of Scala. If you look at Java 9, Java 10, Java 11, Java 12 is the latest release. All are coming slowly towards functional programming style. Java introduced streams where you can write stream dot kind of applications. Right? And now, one property is there called the memoizable. What is that memoizable and what is meant by that property? That is a very important property which is making Spark powerful. How many of you know what is Fibonacci numbers? Have you ever heard about Fibonacci numbers? What are Fibonacci numbers?
Some of previous two.
1 plus 1 is 2, 2 plus 1 is 3, 3 plus 2 is 5. What is the advantage? Is there any speciality for these numbers? Sometimes learn philosophy, become a philosopher also. Computer scientists can easily become philosophers if you think. You know, these are called the magic numbers and these are giving the identity that the universe or the God, the existence, the universe is written in mathematics, and it was told by Galileo. Why? Do you know what is a Nautilus shell is? The Nautilus shell is something which looks like this, if suppose you want to see how it is. So if you just look at this thing and then go to Google and then Nautilus shell and press enter. All of you might have seen this Nautilus shell. It looks like this, and it is one of the things in the nature, right? It comes in the seashore. Nobody creates it. It is the nature's creation. Right? It looks like this. What is the ratio of this diameter with this diameter with this diameter? You will see that it is Fibonacci numbers. Next, solar system. What is the ratio between the planets' movements, the orbits? You will see that they are Fibonacci numbers. There is a seamlessly great relationship between the Fibonacci numbers and the things that happen in the nature. How? The scientists are trying for finding out the reason, but that caused Galileo to say that the universe is written in mathematics. Anyway, that is not the topic here. Fibonacci of n is equal to Fibonacci of n minus 1 plus Fibonacci of n minus 2. That is the definition, right? Now, tell me what is Fibonacci of fifth? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. I want to find out Fibonacci of seventh position. Fibonacci of seventh position is equal to Fibonacci of sixth position plus Fibonacci of fifth position, correct? So it calculated Fibonacci of 6 here, correct? What is Fibonacci of 6? 8. And what is Fibonacci of 5? 5, right? Look, now this is Fibonacci of 6 and we will. Now what is Fibonacci of 6? Fibonacci of 5 plus Fibonacci of 4. But Fibonacci of 5 is already calculated now. But computer doesn't know that. When you do this particular calculation, the computer will again calculate the Fibonacci of 5. Again it will calculate Fibonacci of 4. But already this is calculated in the other part, correct? Are you getting the idea what I am telling? If it is memoizable, Scala, what Scala will do? It will remember that it has been calculated. And where you need this particular property? When you deal with large data sets, if suppose you have written some algorithms to extract it, if you have already done that particular work, Scala knows that it has been performed. It will memorize. So one property which makes it very powerful for Spark, the composability is one. Another property is this memoizable. And then you have got all this parallelism and all, which we will see later. Okay. Scala has got a beautiful library inbuilt called Akka. It's a Tamil word for sister. So Akka is a library in Scala which is giving you multi-threading into a completely different level than Java. In Java, multi-threading is difficult. Creating semaphores, mutex, events, dealing with multi-threading, dealing with locks, all these are very, very difficult when you are writing the Java code. Synchronization, etc., etc. But Martin Odersky has created Akka library which is giving you concurrency into a completely easy and a very sophisticated manner. This is the library which is playing a very important role both in Kafka and in Spark, and is one of the reasons why Spark was chosen to be written in Scala. Right? So what we are going to do today is we are going to install Scala. The moment you are installing Scala, you need Scala, but before Scala, you must have Java 8. And remember that we used Ant for building the code in Java. Scala uses SBT. This is going to be the tool that you will be using in Spark if you are writing your code in Scala. So you will have two options. Either you will use SBT. SBT is not Scala build tool, but it is standard build tool. Standard build tool, and it is Maven. Both of these we are going to use. So we are going to install first Scala and then SBT and then Maven and make the environment ready for writing the code. First I am going to do it on Mac and then I will do it on Windows, on Devraj's machine, so that you will understand both, because yesterday I came to know that you don't know how to create an environment variable also on Windows. With this you will not even learn the spelling of Spark. First you need to know how to manage your computer, right? Alright, so let us start. What I am going to do is we have to install Scala. So what you need to do first, you see everything, okay? Don't do anything, just concentrate on what is happening. First of all, understand in Linux, Unix or any operating system, everything that you want to do is controlled by a profile. The profile is stored on two files, either bash rc or bash profile or dot profile. So if you look at vi dot profile, if he has not created anything, nothing will be there. If you write anything onto this particular profile in either Windows or in Mac, in Linux or in Mac, it will be affected when you restart this particular computer. So everything will be happening in the profile. Profile is the one which manages the environment variables of your computer. If you don't want a profile, you can create an environment variable temporarily, and we have done it many times in the virtual machine when I was creating Java_home. But that I told you is only for that terminal. But how will you make it permanent whenever you start it? If you want to install Hadoop, if you want to install Spark, if you want to install Scala, etc., you need to make the changes permanent. That's why we should use dot profile. So what I am going to do is that before going to dot profile, I am opening the browser, file, new window, and I am going to type Scala download. Even though the latest version is 2.11.12 or 2.11.12.8, etc., I would suggest you to go with the 2.11.8 or 2.11.12. Why? Because almost all the technologies related with the Spark are in 2.11 currently, unless you go for Spark 3.0. We are not going. So Scala 2.11.8, and you will see Scala, and you can download SBT, you can install all these things, etc. Other ways of installing Scala, I am going there, and I am going to click on download the Scala binaries for Mac OS. If you are going to the Windows, you will see download the Scala binaries for Windows. Since you are in Mac, it automatically identified. Click on that and allow. So Scala is downloaded. After Scala is downloaded, what I am going to do, I am going to type Apache Maven download and then press enter. And Maven download Apache Maven. Okay, and remember this particular class, that in this world, whatever you want to do, from cloud to robotics to Raspberry Pi to anything, installation is simple. This is how you should do. And then go to this download files, and then you can download any Maven release. Let us take the latest one. There is a zip file that is available. I am going to download that particular zip file. Never download source, because you don't know source. You need only the binary. Binary is the executable. So I am going to click on that Maven download. Now I am going to go to SBT download, which is the Scala build tool, and download SBT. And you can see in Mac OS you can use Brew, which is automatically installing the things, but I don't want that. I am going to use SBT 1.3.7.zip, which is again a zip file, and click on allow. Now I have got the three directories which are now having three files in my downloads folder. What I am going to create, mkdir, I am going to create a directory called tools, and then cd tools, and then I am going to move the files that I have downloaded. First one is the SBT. Since it is a zip file, it is automatically unzipped, and I am going to move it here so that inside my tools I have SBT. And now I am going to move the file which is there in the Apache Maven, which is again a zip file that I have downloaded. So it has also extracted. So I got Maven, and I am just changing the long name as I usually do to move Apache to Maven 363 as my file. So Maven 363 is the directory that we have. So we have two directories. One is Maven and another is SBT. And finally, we will move this one and move it to here, and it is a tar file, so no choice. You are going to uninstall this particular one, and you have all these things that is available. And then I am going to delete that tar file which I don't need, so that I have got all the three files that are installed, that are created. And the next thing, remember that it is in tools. What I am going to do is that I am going to go to another directory and I am going to create another called links, mkdir links, okay, and see the way that we are doing it. So links is something called just to keep the links. Actual software is in tools, remember. And inside of the links I am going to create a soft link pointing to that particular directories. How will you create a soft link? You will go to study links and then I am going to write ln minus s. So soft link ln minus s, and I am going to tell that I want to point to users Bhaskar's name slash tools slash sbt, and I am going to give a short name as sbt, which means that if I look at ls minus al, you will see that sbt is a soft link now pointing to the actual sbt. Why I am doing it? Because tomorrow when I change my sbt, I will just download the latest version to sbt folder in the tools, and I will change this soft link. I don't have to change my profile. My profile, I will always point to links. Inside the links, I will change whatever I want. But my profile will always remain clean without any changes. So I created this particular one. Next one, what I am going to do is ln minus s. This time, inside the tools.
Here you gave the ln, right? The link minus s. Is this for this particular session? Always it would be.
I don't know. Please listen and look what are doing. Don't ask this type of questions now, because you are not looking at what I am doing. ln minus s. Tools is the directory in which actual data is there. Links is the directory where I created the links. And I told you this links I am going to put it in the profile, and I told you in the beginning that whatever I do in the profile, if I restart also, understand? Is it clear? ln minus s, okay, so ln minus s slash tools slash I am going to do the Scala now, Scala 2.18, and I am going to call it as Scala. So I created another soft link. And next what I am going to do is that inside the tools I have Maven, and I am going to call this one, and I am going to call it as Maven. So I created soft links ls minus al, and look clearly that arrow symbol indicates that they are all soft links. You will not see this arrow symbol in Windows. It is only for all Linux, Mac, etc. Now I am going to add that links to my profile, and what I am going to do is vi, making sure that I am in the home directory, dot profile, and in the profile I am going to write export Scala underscore home equal to slash users slash links slash Scala. This is the beauty. I am pointing to the links, and links is internally pointing to the actual, so that always my profile will be this. I will never touch it, but I will play with my links in order to change the version later. So I created this one. Okay, make sure that there is no mistake in the directory, and I am going to go to next one, and I am going to call next variable, and this is where you need a little bit of knowledge. Okay, where whenever you are creating Maven, don't call it as Maven home, it will not work. It should be m2 underscore home. That is the word that you should be using when you use Maven. This you will get from where? Quick start guides. And then slash users slash yanum slash links slash Maven is the one that I created, and then export. I am going to write my other one, which is nothing but the sbt. So sbt underscore home equal to slash users slash yanum slash links slash sbt. So I created all the three. What I miss? the Java I am missing. And it is very difficult to find out the Java version in Mac. So even if you type where is Java, it is telling user/bin/Java, and see how Mac has done this particular Java installation. If you look at ls/user/bin/Java, look, they created the soft link and I used that same approach. That user/bin/Java is pointing to system/library/framework/. And I am going to copy that and I am going to write ls minus al, and I am going to type this, and you can see it is pointing to this particular Java directory. Now there is no soft link. So that's my Java. Now to find out where is the JRE, it's a little bit different. So you have to go to current. I think I have to look into the directory where the Java is installed. Normally it will be in /user libexec /Java home. That's the variable which will be pointing to your Java home, and this is what you should be copying as the Java home variable. So I am going to copy that value and I am going to go to VI, and if it is Windows you have to do the corresponding thing, right? And here in the beginning I am going to write the most important variable, export Java underscore home equal to, and then I am going to write the value which is a $, and then I have to paste that particular value. This is how you will declare Java home in Mac. So I declared Java home and I declared all those things. Now declaring the variable is not enough. What you have to finally make sure that it is available is export path. Export path equal to, I am going to write all the path that I have mentioned. One is the Java home /bin colon, I am going to write $Scala underscore home /bin, and then $M2 underscore home /bin, and then $SBT underscore home /bin. Do not ever forget to append the $path which is the existing path. Always we do this. Now your path is correct, export is correct. I have to restart my computer so that it will be available always. Now you don't want to restart, why? Because you are recording. So how will you make sure that this profile is affected? Only for now you can do by writing source.profile, which means that it is there. And now let me type Scala, and that indicates that everything is set and my Scala is ready, and if I ask something to Scala I should be getting the answer. So Scala is installed. So these are the basic steps for any kind of installation that you need to do. If it is Hadoop, Hadoop home, and you will add the soft links. As you are building the things, your profile will grow and it will look like this, where you will have all the export variable, your HBase, your Scoop, your Spark, your MySQL, your databases, everything, and finally you will add everything to the path, and then you will declare all your paths so that you will become the complete system. This is how Hadoop is to be installed on your normal machines. Cloudera already has done this. That is why they are giving you that virtual machine. So you got all these things and you can easily write your Scala program now. And make sure that you are doing this particular thing. Otherwise, you will not be able to write any Spark programs in the next class. Once you do this particular thing, the next step is make it easier. How can you make it easier without this command prompt? You need the command prompt, you need SBT for your Spark programs. Don't think that if you have an easy way, you can bypass this step. No, you have to. Easy way is that you can easily download Scala IDE, which is based on Eclipse. I am going to click on Scala IDE for Eclipse. Do not go to Eclipse site for it. Scala IDE is different. And I am going to click on Scala IDE and click on Download IDE. And click on Mac OS 64-bit and click this one depending upon your operating system. It should be a big file and allow it to download. And it's a zip file. Alright, it is downloaded, it is extracted, and as you can see, automatically it has given you this particular icon. You will have the security error when you are typing it, and automatically it is added into your Mac, and press enter. As you see, there is a security error, and whenever you get this particular security error, many times we have seen it, you can just click on open or go to the security privacy preferences and click allow. And user/enum, it is automatically creating a workspace. I am going to call WP1 as my workspace and click on launch. And remember the BERT screen that we have done. The similar screen you will see now. Why? Because BERT is also on the top of Eclipse. So now you got Eclipse and I am going to create file new. Remember at that time we created a BERT project, but now it is a Scala project. And I am going to give a small project name as sample. Use default. Automatically it will identify Java because without Java it will not work. And click on next. Take all the defaults, source, everything is created, and click on finish. And inside this you you have all these particular files, and right click and then tell new Scala worksheet. First play with worksheets, and I will tell you what is a worksheet. Give a worksheet name. Let's call it as sample 1 and then finish. A worksheet is a so powerful and beautiful one where if you type something on the left hand side, it will show you the output on the right hand side. So I want to play with Scala. I want to learn Scala. Print line. Print line. In bracket, hello. Control S. Control S. And see what is happening. Oh. It's not saving. And you see on the right hand side what is happening. The moment I write printf hello, it is telling hello is the output. Print line 1 plus 2. Oh, result equal to 0 and equal to 3. Any Scala command, you can work with this worksheet. No need to use the command line. Another approach is file, new, Scala object. And call the name of the object sample. And then click on finish. It will give you like a Java object sample. It is where you will be defining your particular code, and if suppose you go to the last part of this particular material and if you copy def main equal to and then right click and then copy, and remember it is taking an argument array, and you go there and then go to your Scala and paste that particular method, define main, print line, and just change this. Let's say I want to print hello world. Instead of equal to, let's assume that I am putting the curly braces. I wrote my method and I write my class. Hello world, print line, hello world, double quote, hello world, double quote, finished. So I created my main and I created my object. And once you do this particular one, save this particular one, and then right click and then run as Scala application. And look below, you got hello world, which means that your program is running. If you are not satisfied with this and you want the command prompt kind of environment inside this Scala IDE, then you right click and then go to this particular sample, I think, and then right click and then you will see something called Scala, and then click on create Scala interpreter in sample, and you will see below it has given you a Scala prompt just like the command prompt, and here you start 1 plus 2. And you are not satisfied with any of these things, you want to do work on online, then file, new window, type /t and press enter and click on /t, and you got a browser based environment for typing your program, and then you start playing here and then run your particular code from here. You write your code and then run this particular code, then you will be running and you got the result as 3. So browser, Eclipse, command prompt, SBT, Maven. Finally, make sure that Maven is also running by typing clear screen, and make sure you are going to CD. Remember source.profile. Why? Because I have not restarted my computer. After restarting, you don't need to go to this step. Automatically it will be available. And if you are typing mvn clean install, I should get an error because there is no pom.xml, but it identified Maven. See, scanning for projects, it's all coming from Maven. So Maven is installed. So Maven, SBT and Scala. So now Devraj can call. I am going to install all these things onto Windows. So the Scala IDE is running. Everything is running. You got the complete environment of doing Spark and all the programs. So just call me. Not call me. Call him. I will call you.
Okay.
I will call you. You are unavailable. Now you are active now.
Connecting, right?
You are not calling me. You are calling Bhaskar.
Oh, I have to call.
Please close. Please close. I am calling you.
Okay.
Please close.
No. I will open this one.
You don't have to open anything.
Okay.
Just Skype.
Okay.
And can you accept now?
Yeah, right. Yes. Hi, here. Okay. Yes. Okay. Yeah.
Mute it. Mute that one. Microphone as well as the speaker. Only keep this one on. Because here it is down installed.
Yeah. Right now.
And share your screen.
This one.
Share screen.
Start recording.
No. Just share screen. There is a square window. Yeah. And that. Wait. Yes, it's visible. So it's getting recorded. So give me that computer there. Connect. Give me that connection.